Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy, or if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. So this is like the 5th time I'm recording this intro, and this is what happens when I don't make notes. But anyways, I hope this is the one that takes. Anyways, as you guys can tell from the title of the video, today I'm going to be talking about a new study Bible, and it's the Anselm Academic Study Bible Catholic Edition. So this is certainly not a new publication. It's new to me though, and this came out, well, I think the copyright is 2012, so it's not a new study Bible by any means. But the reason I ended up getting this was because Tony, who also recommended the amazing book Introduction to the New Testament by Raymond Brown, he not that he recommended, but he asked if I have this Bible, and I did not. So as soon as I heard study Bible and academic study Bible, I was like, I am gonna get it. So Tony, thank you so much again, my brother in Christ. Thank you so much for watching and commenting, and all of you who do the same. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. I really feel blessed that I have some people watching and even commenting and recommending amazing stuff to me. So this is a result of that. So I'm just gonna talk about it. Okay, all right. Okay, so I guess for the physical stuff first. So in terms of size, look at me, how prepared I am. So it is about 6.5 by 8.5, right? Okay, and the thickness, let's see. So I've had this for about a month, and yeah, so that's why it doesn't look that new anymore, because I have been reading it, and it is a paperback, if you guys can't tell, but I'll talk about that too. So it's about just a little less than 2 inches. So anywho, all right. Oh, is it in the frame? My goodness. Give me a sec. Sorry. Am I gonna edit that out? No, I'm not. Anyways, here we go. So just to look at the cover, it is a paperback, like I said. I don't know if actually a hardbound is available, but I got this at Sunrise Marian. They're the only store I can see online in Ontario that has this. So, and they had it in stock, so I was so excited. And if I don't think I mentioned it, but it's a neighbor translation, a New American Bible, Revised Edition. And this is what it says at the back. Catholic Edition, General Editor Carolyn, Osiek. Study Bible designed for today's diverse readership. Organized and developed in the 21st century reader in mind, the Anselm Academic Study Bible is an unsurpassed resource for those who want to know more about the Bible. Whether you have grown up with the Bible or are coming to it for the first time, the Anselm Academic Study Bible will deepen your understanding of one of the most influential books in the history of the Western culture. And then it just says there, the features: engaging scholarship, distinctive approach, navigation-friendly organization, rich support materials. Okay, so anyways, so I'll do a flip through, and I guess, yeah, all right. So first page after the cover is this glossy table of contents, I guess. Yeah. Okay, and then more abbreviations, and then some reviews. Okay, so the paper is quite thin. I don't know what GSM it is, but it's a good quality. It's a good quality paper. It is thin, like I said, but I find it's a better quality than you know what? Let me get that. So this is the Catholic Prayer Bible, which has very thin paper, and this is the New Jerusalem, the Revised New Jerusalem Bible Study Edition. This too, the Catholic Prayer, and this one, the New Jerusalem one, have very thin paper. So in terms of that, it is about the same, but so I guess I would say it's between the Catholic Prayer Bible and this one here. So I do think this is slightly thicker than the Anselm, but don't quote me on that. But it's still a pretty good, it's a really nice paper actually, and I like the font as well. This was, I'll show you guys, you know what? Okay, let me just move all this stuff. So this is printed in Italy, and I do think Italy, they do produce such beautiful Bibles, like the Word on Fire is done in Italy, so it says there, and then you have here on this page, the nihil obstat and imprimatur. Yeah, so sorry, I get distracted so easily, but yeah, the paper, it is thin, but I still think it's a really good paper. I mean, obviously you won't be doing your, you know, your creative art journaling in here with all the watercolor and stuff like that. But okay, so let me just go through each page. So after that, this page here, the title page, and you have the copyright page here, another title page there, and then now here you have the contents. So here it tells you all the articles before the actual text of the Bible. So I have read most of these, so I will talk about that too. Most of these except for two, I think. And then now we start off with the Old Testament. So each book of the Bible has two introductions. So it has the introduction of the contributors. So it's different contributors, as you guys will see later on as I flip through it. And then it has the neighbor introduction. So if you have the Catholic, this is the Catholic Study Bible. So all the notes in the Catholic Study Bible and all the introduction to the books are the same as what you find in here, but what the difference would be is, like I said, the other introduction, I guess, that's actually done by the contributors. And that will make sense as I flip through it. So here you'll have a list of the maps, charts, and photographs, which is great. So I'll show you guys all that later. Photographs here. And then the contributors. So the contributors are all in this page. And they are great contributors as far as I can tell from the credentials. Okay, let me see here. Francois Bovon, Mary Seaboys. I don't know if it's worth mentioning, because I don't know if there's quite a few of them. But anyways, yeah, so most of them are yeah, like they're all great actually. So let me just say, I should really make notes. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so like for example, the actual editor, Carolyn Osiek, is Charles Fisher, Catholic professor of New Testament, emerita at Bright Divinity School, past president of the Catholic Biblical Association and the Society of Biblical Literature, former associate editor of the Bible Today, and book review editor of Catholic Biblical Quarterly, and general editor of the Anselm Academic Study Bible. All right, so then just another example, Eric Stewart, assistant professor of religion at Augustana College in Rock Island, Illinois, social context of the Bible. So just to give you guys an example. So all right, and then more collaborators here. Collaborators on the Old Testament of the neighbor. So this is just with the New American Bible and not necessarily with the Anselm. And then the articles. Okay, sorry. General editor acknowledgements and then publisher acknowledgements right here. Okay. And then the articles. So for me anyways, this is what makes the Study Bible really be such a gem, is like the articles. They are really great. Okay, so like for example, the formation of the Bible. So they're not very detailed, obviously, because you know, they're not like 20 pages long, but you still get a great not, I shouldn't say introduction, but a lot of the topics that are discussed, it really, you learn a lot, you know. So like for example, the formation of the Bible, like especially if you didn't go to a seminary, or like, you know, like you didn't go to school for theology, these are all great articles just to give you an overview of the topics. So, okay, here. So it has an introduction and then early biblical thesis. And then it talks about like just the history basically. The first article just talks about the history, Septuagint and and all that, and the canonization of the Old Testament, New Testament, then translations. But the good thing about these articles as well is there is a flow to it that they all kind of tie to each other. So yeah, this is the one I haven't read, the Geography, Archaeology of the Scriptures, Social Context on the Bible by Eric Stewart. Okay, so it talks about collectivism, honor, like just you know what? Hang on, let me get my glasses. Okay. All right, here we go. So it talks about so for this one here, though the civilizations of the ancient Near East, Hellenistic and Roman periods differed from one another in many ways, and Israelite culture was different as well from each of these other civilizations. All these also had broad similarities as agrarian Mediterranean cultures. Such cultures are marked by certain key features that remain broadly similar throughout these cultures. These features include collectivism, honor, patronage, kinship, and kinship structure. So it talks about each of those topics. Okay. And then there's a summary, obviously, and it's just great. Just like I said, if you're not someone who studied it in a academic setting, these are great articles, honestly. Deuterocanonical and non-canonical scriptures. I am so sorry, this video is going to be a bit discombobulated, but anyway, so here this actually has two articles in this one. So it talks about the Apocrypha, the history of that, and then let me see here. This one is really a lot. Like I kind of wish I can just memorize all this stuff, So I'm sure these are all in other commentaries as well, but because it's the last one I've read about that, so it's the one that's just kind of really staying with me. So it talks about the jubilees and the different I could never say this word, pseudepigrapha, all those texts, that talks about the jubilees and what else, the life of Adam, the first Enoch, Testament of Abraham. So it talks about what's in it and why it wasn't considered, they weren't considered a part of the canon. And then early Christian Apocrypha by Francois Bovon. Okay. Same thing. Talks about the non-canonical Acts of the Apostles, non-canonical Apocalypses. Yeah, so it's really a really interesting read. This one I haven't read as well, the Christian Bible and the Jews. That's going to be my next read. There's another one here that I think I haven't read. This one, Jewish Biblical Interpretation, I also have not read. Oh gosh, I thought it's only two I missed, but it's three. Anyways, so now we talk about the distinctiveness of Jesus. So it's more an analysis of the New Testament and like aphorisms of Jesus. Jesus is the Son of Man. Jesus is the Son of God, and then it talks about different parts of the New Testament that talks about that. And then what else? So so as you guys can see, even though it's thin paper, there is ghosting. I think this is the midliner or the Great Adventure highlighter. Those are the two I was using in this Bible. And yeah, so there is ghosting on the back, but it didn't bleed through. So if you really are bothered by ghosting, then I would just suggest using the gel highlighters. So Many Faces of Jesus. Oh gosh, I haven't read that one either. Okay, all right. The Lectionary, a canon within the canon. So this one is also a great read. This talks about the history of the lectionary as we have it now, from its inception to modern day, all the revisions and all that beautiful stuff. And then a brief history and practice of biblical criticism. So this one, yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure I've read this in other study Bibles. So contextual approach, and then how we as Catholics do our studies of it. Different kinds of criticism: text criticism, source criticism, form criticism, redaction criticism, tradition criticism, literary criticism, and then the social scientific criticism. And then there's even a chart that just kind of compares them. And then the critical issues and contemporary biblical interpretation. So basically just saying that yeah, biblical fundamentalism is really the only thing that's really not approved, I guess, because as Catholics, it's the scripture and tradition that we emphasize, right? So okay, and then what is next? Sacred tradition and the Catholic tradition. Oh, this is actually really, I love this read. It's not that long as well, but it just talks about the role of the Bible itself, like how really being a Catholic and a Christian, you know, how being a part of the community is one of the most important parts. Like, let me see here. Christians here. Christians believe that God reveals himself in community before he is revealed in the written word. God was guiding the history of Israel, informing his people before a word of the Old Testament was written. Likewise, God was revealed through the earthly life of Jesus and the formation of the church before a word of the New Testament. Oh my gosh, is it clear? New Testament. Is it blurry? I hope not. New Testament was written. So yeah, this is a great read as well, and it even talks about Lectio Divina at the end of it. I'm pretty sure. Oh no, so it's this one here, I think, and I think this is the last. This is the last essay: contextual and transformative interpretation. Yeah, so the. Here, for example, fuller meanings within biblical text. So it talks about the messianic meaning, canonical meaning, communal meaning, and then the contextual interpretation again. Really emphasizes, like a lot of the notes really emphasizes the importance of context. Okay, and then transformative interpretation. And then, oh, this is the one that talks about Lectio Divina. This quest for transformative interpretation of the biblical text is expressed in the ancient practice of Lectio Divina, this time-tested way of interpreting. Scripture is rooted in the rabbinical Judaism and the patristic tradition of the early church. Okay. All right. And then now we go to the Old Testament. So, like I said, it has all the notes and preface and introductions that the other neighbor Bible has. So this one is what you will find in any New American Bible Revised Edition Bible. So preface to the New American Bible Old Testament, and then preface to the Revised New American Bible. And then this is where it starts with introduction to the Pentateuch, which is actually just notes from the contributors of the Anselm Academic Program. So this one is by Carol Dempsey. So it talks about the Pentateuch, and then it has the Pentateuch introduction that the neighbor has, and then they have their own. The Anselm has their own introduction as well. Okay, so that goes, it is pretty much like that for all the books. So we'll do a flip through, and I'll just show you the features that it has aside from the text. It also has this tabbing here, the color tabbing on the edge. So it's not the thumb indexing, but it's still pretty good, right? So that it has that. Also not color coded as the Great Adventure Bible. So what is this one? Oh, okay, so yeah, so now we're talking about the different charts and stuff, which is actually spread out throughout the Bible. So like this one, it has this chart, deities of the ancient Near East. And then also has the maps done throughout, but there are also colored maps at the end. But I just want to show you like that, you know, throughout the books itself. They have the black and white maps. So this one is the Israelite kingdoms. And then this one is the Neo-Babylonian Empire, 6th century BCE. Okay. So this one is on a colored glossy page. So it's more charts. There's quite a few of them here. So let's just go through it. Deities of the ancient Near East. That one is, like I said already mentioned before, spiritual ancestors of the monotheistic faiths. Prophets and kings, 11th to the 6th centuries BCE. So we have Samuel all the way to Ezekiel. Then has here the kings of Judah at that time. And then now we have the wonders, miracles, and signs in the Old Testament. So yeah, so great resource like these tables. What else? Next one, sacred time, festival, feasts, and fasts of Judaism, practiced by Jesus, the apostles, and their contemporaries, and then the Greco-Roman rulers in the New Testament period. Titles of Jesus of Nazareth, Jesus, son of Mary, son of man. Okay, and then, oops. Okay, yeah, you know, I'll just lift the Bible, make it easier. Wonders, miracles, and signs in the New Testament, men who follow Jesus. So not just the disciples, but also, you know, Nicodemus, Joseph of Arimathea, and then first off, of course, John the Baptist. All right, and then, okay. So there's more here, but I'm not going to go through all of them, but there's picture examples of photographs. So this one is Mount Olives. Yeah. More photos of that, black and white. This one is Jerusalem Temple. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, like I said, I haven't read the whole Bible, unfortunately. Not this one anyway, but I've read this one, the Introduction to the Romance, and James, I think. So those are the ones I've read the intros, and yeah, it's really great. And okay. So now we go to the end. So after the text itself, you have the index. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. Okay, let's see. After Revelation, last page, you have the index. Okay, so it's not a concordance, but better than nothing. And okay, oh my gosh, okay. And then I just did some testing of pens and stuff, that just to make sure it doesn't bleed through. And then here, more glossy pages. So this one has the 3-year cycle of the Sunday lectionary readings up to 2023, and then additional study aids. So now we'll see the color maps and more charts, I believe. Okay, so timeline of the biblical history. This is kind of similar to the Great Adventure Bible timeline, right? Just not, you know, it's not color coded like that one. And yeah, okay. And then here, a trip through the Holy Land. So it has pictures like that. It talks about just different aspects. So olives, horned altar, Mount Sinai, Negev, Tomb of the Patriarchs, pomegranates, and then oxen. It's pretty cool. More pictures. River Jordan, sheep and goats, figs, Bethesda pools, Lake of Galilee, graves, menorah, donkey. Very cute. Then the color maps. There we go. So this one, Table of Nations, map 1, map 2, tribal territories, kingdom years. This one, the Syrian Empire, Babylonian Empire, Ministry of Jesus and Acts of the Apostles, Holy Land in modern times. Okay, then the books in alphabetical order, which is I think the same as what's in here, is it? Yes, it is. So the beginning and end pages are the same. Very cool. And then that's it. So yeah, like I said, it's surprisingly as much as I love hardbound books because they're more durable, I actually really like this one. Like, it has a slight texture as well, and I mean, obviously it's soft cover, it's paperback, so like I've been reading it a lot and I've taken it out of the house, so I can tell already I might have to tape that in the future, but otherwise it's so easy to carry. And like I said, the pages are great. I love the font. I love the notes in it, and not necessarily the neighbor notes, but just the notes from the Anselm stuff. It's really great. So thank you, Tony, again for putting this on my radar. And gosh, okay, I hope this video makes sense. Thank you so much if you have made it this far. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. God bless you guys. Bye.